Welcome back to the Female Dating Strategy Podcast. I am your host, Rose, and today we are joined by Margot and our original OG goat, Savannah. Ladies, it's nice to hear from you.
Hi.
Hey. Good to be back, Queens.
We got a state of the pod up announcement. How can we go about announcing what's going on in our world? We've had a little bit of a hiatus, and that was unannounced. So people might have been confused about, why we've dropped off the planet seemingly for the last couple of months. Savannah, would you provide some insight for our guests?
Yeah, of course. So firstly, I'd like to apologize for dropping off the face of the planet and for the podcast being so quiet these past few months. It wasn't a planned hiatus. It's just that there were lots of changing moving parts, and we felt it best to just take the podcast offline and regroup, because it can be quite difficult to work these things out whilst you're still on quite a tight production schedule. But we will keep you more informed moving forwards. Just wanted to get that out of the way. I'm really sorry, Queens. That's not becoming of our brand, and we don't want to be disappearing on you as well. But I guess the bigger piece of news is that I will be, by the end of the year, or definitely by early 2026, is I'll be stepping back from the podcast completely. I stepped back from doing the main episodes around this time last year, and I handed that over to the very, very capable Diana and Rose, who have done a magnificent job on the main podcast, and I moved over to the bonus content with Patricia, with the extremely wonderful Patricia. But I will be stepping back from that too, so I won't be involved with the podcast at all. And it's a bittersweet moment. If I think back over the past 5 years, when Ro and Lilith and I conceived this in our bedrooms almost haphazardly, I never would have thought the podcast would have even, taken off anywhere near as much as it has. So I'm really grateful for the experiences and for all the listeners and for all the stories and all the guests that we've had on this show. But I just think now's the time for me to just fully step back and allow the very, very capable Rose and Patricia to take on the show in a refreshed direction. As like Ro and I said a year ago when we were both talking about stepping back, is that after a while you feel a bit like a broken record. And there's a lot of things happening in my personal life as well. I think I touched on it earlier on in the year when I said that my dad had passed away around Christmas last year. And it does just make you reevaluate things. And I think now is a very good time for me to just step back a bit and to spend more time with my family, because ultimately that's the most important thing. I'll really, really miss the podcast, being involved in it. It's been a struggle sometimes because it's quite a lot to take on top of, your day job and your personal life. But it has honestly been one of the best experiences of my life, and I will really, really miss it. But I won't always be a stranger, and I'm sure from time to time I will drop by to say hi, as long as the new host will have me. So
Savannah, there's always a special guest spot for you. You just have to let us know when you are free and willing to come back.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, there's an open door policy for you, for sure. Like, you don't have to ring the doorbell. You just send a quick note. But I have to say, just listening to you talk very briefly about this whole process that you've undergone in getting this podcast up and running and keeping it running and continuing on after the other hosts have gone. I mean, it just really impresses me to hear how much time and energy you've given to it, and always willingly. You've never been begrudging in the time and the care you've put into it, but it does really impress me when I hear you put it in these terms, just how much of your life you have dedicated to keeping this going. I think that's really noteworthy, and it's really honorable.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I think as well, it's never really felt like a labor of love. It's honestly just felt like a hobby to me, and a hobby that I was really fortunate to have the two co-hosts that I had in the beginning. Huge shout out to Ro and Lilith, even though they've not been around for some time, but this podcast wouldn't have even got off the ground without the two of them and all the work that they put in behind the scenes, and our initial, I suppose, chemistry that just
Yeah.
seemed to work really well, especially considering that we were all strangers when we got together to do all this. So it's a bit like, the saying, like, lightning doesn't strike twice. I feel like when the three of us got together to do the podcast and we delivered it for the first time, I feel like, that was an example of like a lightning strikes moment, because it's really, really rare to get three people who are just on the same page, but also different in their own ways, in a way that works really, really well.
Yeah, I still remember when it dropped. I had already been, obsessively reading everything on Reddit with the female dating strategy subreddit, RIP. Still miss it a lot, but I think it's understandable why it had to close. But when you guys came on and I could actually hear your voices and hear the ongoing conversation, the back and forth that you all had, it was so gratifying. It felt like listening to my girlfriends, but the ones who finally had some good sense about men. Because usually in like my day-to-day life, the patriarchy is real and many women are imprisoned in the mentality of being in service to men. And that's no shade against them. It's just simply how we've all been conditioned. And it's a long journey to remove oneself from that if you ever really fully manage to. But when I remember hearing you three, I just was like so ecstatic. And I, who have never listened to podcasts before, I like waited for every drop. I mean, I remember there was like one day where it didn't drop on the day it would normally drop. And I was like, man, like I'm jonesing for a hit, you know? But it just became such an important part of my life. And I think the viewership responded clearly to the three of you. And when you sent out the call to have new hosts and I started that journey, I kind of did it on a lark. I didn't actually think it was results in anything, but I've been challenging myself more and more to actually like try things out of my wheelhouse and try to push myself out of my comfort zone. So that was really why I applied. And now here we are like a year later, and I'm getting to have this conversation with you. And I just feel really grateful that what you all began 5+ years ago has led to this moment. And I know others listening are going to feel the same way when I say, we value you so much, Savannah. You've been an amazing voice to listen to, your thoughts, your heart. Like, I just find you to be such a fabulous person. And I wish you really well in what's going on in your life to come.
Thank you both so much. And I'm really excited for the next stage of the podcast. I think that it's being left in really capable hands. From the time I interviewed the three of you, I just knew that it was going to be okay, the future of the podcast, if like Ro and I decided to step away, and I have not been disappointed. So yeah, I just hope that the listeners give you guys the same support that they've given to the three original hosts, because I think that you will go on to do amazing, probably better things with the podcast.
I don't know. If we can get anywhere near your level, I would be more than pleased with that. This is the story, like the state of the podcast. On one hand, Savannah is officially retiring, never to be gone or forgotten, but like definitely has other priorities in life right now. And I think, like you say too, with having lost your father not even a year ago, I mean, the year after you lose somebody that important is such a critical time period for just really reflecting and deciding, how do you want to orient your life going forward? So I really hope the time with your family is everything your heart needs right now. That's one half of the story. The second half is Diana is immigrating from her home country to an entirely different country. She's in the process of doing that right now as we speak. And so she has stepped back from the podcast at this time. And so the plan going forward, Patricia, is that we work together as the new duo, the new dynamic duo, and get revamped and restarted in 2026.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to first appreciate everything that Savannah said, and also thank you for the kind words, Rose. And I concur that. And I really appreciated recording with you, Savannah, and making episodes with you. I really appreciated your way of conveying complicated ideas in a way that is nuanced, patient, have space for others' input. And I extra appreciated when you gave me something new to think about, or you gave me a new angle to think about things. And I really appreciated the time recording with you. I'm really grateful for you having me on. And it was also really cute to think back of how you started this, probably not knowing is something going to come out, but you went at it full force. And as a result, me and Rose and so many other women have benefited from listening to you and from hearing you put this philosophy forward. And now this is also something that we discuss sometimes, but it feels like the world has caught up a little bit. I feel like the flavors of feminism that I'm seeing now on social media are more similar to us, but that still gives me the push and the motivation to keep speaking this philosophy, keep bringing this forward, keep bringing this to more and more women so that they can have better lives, better self esteem. And this is exactly why Rose and I are super hyped, super motivated for the new era of the pod. And indeed, we're gearing everything up, getting all our ducks in order so we can consistently be putting out episodes in the beginning of the new year.
Beyond psyched. I'm so hyped. And, you know, I've been talking to Patricia on and off since we started the whole new regime, let's say. But of course, she was on the bonus with Savannah. And so I didn't get to talk to her as frequently. But since Savannah let us know that she was going to be retiring and Diana let us know that she was going to be taking a hiatus, an extended hiatus, maybe permanent, we don't know. Margot and I have really had the chance to catch up with one another and to discuss, you know, what our hopes and dreams are for the podcast. And I am really excited because, like, Patricia, you are as dedicated to the philosophy and ideology as I am. And I think we've got some really good ideas as far as like bringing it back to basics, you know, like what was FDS founded upon? What did we promulgate? What do we promote? This is what we really want to make sure we're able to get out to other listeners because, like you say, the flavors of feminism have shifted, but I still think we have a lot of collective wisdom that we've garnered from women across the world. And I think it's time we ensure that those voices are being heard as well.
Yeah, plus I don't mind being one proponent of this philosophy if I have colleagues. It's the same way that I'm a scientist and I'm an engineer. And when I speak about my work or my field of research, I say, we, the scientific engineering community, are working on this issue. And it's the same thing. Like, I'm happy to be part of this big and growing movement. And I think as FDSers, we have something specific to say, but I'm really happy to see this philosophy expanding. Namely, like, you know, not entertaining bullshit, not lowering your standards, uh, selecting men out of the gene pool. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
100%. 100%. Yeah, I'm really excited. So this is something that I feel like we're renewing our efforts and our commitments to the FDS strategy. I have some fun things to share with you in the new year because I've dedicated myself to dating again. So this has been something that has been a little bit on hold. We've got fun, juicy tales to tell. But I think, you know, so many of us in the dating community, like, you have to take breaks sometimes because it could just get so painful.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? Like the sea of mediocrity. And so I took my time to gather my druthers, and now I am re-engaging with the world of cis hetero men. And that's what we'll get to discuss in the new year, along with lots of other wonderful things. This is just a brief episode. This is a state of the podcast update. We wanted to let our listeners know that we have not disappeared, nor will we. We have a strategy, we have a timeline. Patricia, is there anything else we should note other than the fact that we will be resuming recording and posting in the new year?
Yeah, we just have so many ideas, so many episode outlines and things that we want to talk to you about. And also, specifically, if you have NASIS, glow ups, level ups, or roast to scrotes, or you want tough advice sessions, please write us an email. We will link our email address at the show notes. And then we will have like a listenership engaged episode.
Fantastic idea. Excellent. Savannah, is there anything you've left out that you want to let us know? Or what, any final remarks?
Yeah, no, it's just been, like I said at the top of the episode, it's just been an awesome, awesome ride. FDS will always be close to my heart. I will still follow the podcast and be cheering on from afar and occasionally dropping in to see how things are going and to give my 2 pennies on whatever topic that we choose to discuss. But yeah, it's been really, really fun. And thank you all so much for everything. You have, a lot of people have said that the podcast has, changed their lives. And it's always an honor to be able to do that. And it's also changed my life as well. So thank you.
Well, I think on behalf of all of our listeners, we can say, we thank you, Savannah. You've been an amazing presence and an amazing voice. And we know that you'll just be taking that out into the broader world as you step forward with your new plans. We wish you the very, very best. And we know this isn't the last that we'll hear from you.
Thank you. Absolutely not. There's just, I think as long as men and women are dating each other, which will be a time immemorial, I'll always have something to say on this podcast.
Oh, by the way, I guess we forgot to mention that we will be taking a break from the bonus episodes because we really want to focus on the core, creating really good content for you and having everybody geared and like close to the community fire, so to speak. And we're going to be taking a little break from the Patreon. If you still feel like supporting us, we'll very much appreciate it. And we do plan to come back after we feel like we're settled in the main episodes. But for now, we're going to focus on the main.
And I will just add, I just want to also say about the Patreon as well. Thank you to all our supporters who supported us over the years. And the money does always get reinvested back into creating more content, because ultimately creating content is time consuming, producing episodes costs money, and that's exactly where your money goes.
Yes, important to say. Patreon money goes into production, into pod related technical stuffs. Yes.
Yeah. So thank you for your support.
Yeah. Keep it coming. Don't just drop off the face of the planet. But no, it's amazing. When Savannah was handing over the account, so to speak, it was like, oh, all of this is for the podcast. This is so helpful to have this because, there's more to the technical aspects than I had realized because Savannah has still been shouldering that for the whole last year. And thank you for onboarding us in such a gracious and gradual way, Savannah. That was really quite kind on your part. But just learning all of the ins and outs, it's like, thank goodness we have this support because it's going to keep us going.
Yeah.
So that's where things stand. We wanted to make sure you weren't just left hanging. We're probably going to include this in our prefaces when we start recording again and posting in January. But for now, we wanted to give you that update and thank you very much for your continued support and wish Savannah only the best of things to come.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, ladies. And thank you, queens. Thank you.
Thank you, Savannah. And also a big shout out to Ro and Lilith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Savannah, Ro, and Lilith, the original trio of glory. Long will you reign in your respective kingdoms.
Thank you.
All right, we'll wrap it up at this point. Scrolls can continue to die mad. And ladies, we'll talk to you soon.
See you soon. Looking forward to it.
Bye-bye. Take care, queens. Bye-bye.